Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to give you guys a heads up on an absolutely awesome Steam game deal. A historical low for a great game that came out back in 2015 and has been a game that I've been talking up a lot. And when it's down to $1.49, y'all already know I gotta give it a mention. On top of that, we got some other great Steam game deals that we'll get into in a little bit, but definitely nothing quite as good as SOMA. 95% off for $1.49. This is by far the cheapest SOMA has ever been on Steam. It may have been a part of like a $1 Humble Bundle tier in the past. I don't really remember it being a part of a $1 Humble Bundle tier. I feel like this is the game they would bake into like a $5 or $10 tier, but I digress. A lot of you guys like to buy your games directly from Steam. So here you go, $1.49. This might be a little bit of a hot take, but I actually think this is Frictional Games' best title. Frictional has also done some of the Amnesia titles, Amnesia the Dark Descent, Amnesia the Bunker, both really well received. SOMA has 36,666 reviews, 95% positive for an overwhelmingly positive reception. It is also Steam Deck verified, so if you want to play it on the Steam Deck for $1.49, absolutely well worth it. The game has such an incredible atmosphere, and it does psychological horror right, in my opinion. It's got that trippy and eerie vibe that actually it creates like a spooky atmosphere for the game. Incredibly engrossing at the same time, and also it's the kind of horror game that I usually get more invested into, where it really tries to tackle the more psychological and harrowing themes, and not necessarily an action horror game. Loving my action horror games, but I love them more so as like action titles. For example, like Resident Evil 4, I like the setting and I like the atmosphere of the game, but the gameplay, the action-y elements to RE4 is really what draws me into that game. With SOMA, it is more of the more psychological horror and engrossing elements that it's got going on for it. It's a fairly short game. You could probably complete it in like 5 to 6 hours, but for $1.49, no-brainer, absolutely recommended. This is one of the best deals, truly, we've seen on Steam all year, given 95% off, this great of a value. And the thing is, it's a week-long deal until December 16th. I often say with a lot of these deals, hey, it'll probably be available again in the Steam Winter Sale, so don't worry too much. You don't always expect 95% off sales to come around multiple times in a given period. You know, there's games that'll hit historical lows and then it'll go back up to a previous low. Like, I imagine during the Steam Winter Sale, it'll be $2.99, which, you know, we're pulling hair at that point, talking about $1.50, but you know what? When talking about buying Steam games, $1.50 can get you a long way. It can buy you SOMA, and SOMA's a fantastic game, so I don't expect this game to get any cheaper. I think 95% off is like the cap unless it goes free, but yeah, $1.49 is tremendous. Definitely check it out if you're remotely into horror games, and I'm not even that big into horror games. It's just the ones that I gravitate towards are, from a horror theme standpoint, games like SOMA. I look at a game like The Medium, I thought was incredibly compelling from an atmosphere standpoint, and SOMA, in my opinion, sets the standard for atmosphere in a horror game. So definitely check it out, $1.49, great deal there. A couple of other deals to note. Some new releases. Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed is 50% off for $29.99. Holy hell! This game just came out back at the end of September. Another game, overwhelmingly positive reception, 564 reviews, 95% positive. So obviously, it didn't have a lot of traction on Steam, and not a lot of people checked it out. I do believe this is the kind of game a lot of people will pick up on Nintendo Switch, on PlayStation. It seems to be a game that gravitates towards that audience more so. However, I was pretty vocal about the fact that I thought this game was way too expensive when it came out, but I almost wonder if from a release standpoint, when we talk about game price points when they come out, why not? Like, I'm not advocating for this for the best interest of the consumer, but from looking at the lens from a THQ Nordic, why not release games at $60? The people that really want it are gonna buy it anyway, and then you get situations like this where 3 months later, 2.5 months later, it's 50% off. You're still selling it for $29.99, and the fact that it's 50% off certainly looks more attractive. You guys know what I'm saying? I know I'm like trying to explain this in a weird way, but I kind of understand why they go with a premium price point for games that, you know, you can be like, okay, this is a little questionable why it's at $60. This is a ground-up remake of Disney Epic Mickey, which came out on the Nintendo Wii, I want to say back in 2010. recreated, has some quality of life improvements. I really enjoyed this game back in the day, and this remake is really well done. If you're a fan of platformers, you'll enjoy it. I could totally understand you being of the mindset that, hey, I want this to get even cheaper. I want it to get down to $15. Like, you look at a game like SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, like, that's the kind of game this is in terms of it being a remake of a game from yesteryear and having some quality of life improvements. And Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, a lot of people picked it up as a part of like a humble bundle or got it for sub $10, and I could totally understand if you're waiting for Epic Mickey Rebrushed to get to that price threshold. I'm just giving it a mention because it's such a recent release, and 50% off for a game that came out 2.5 months ago, that's a sizable discount. Speaking of recent releases, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 is a recent release. You ain't getting this 50% off, I'm sorry to say, but you will get the base game 20% off for $48, which I do think is still a decent pickup. Space Marine 2's recent reviews actually also have it at overwhelmingly positive. 14,000 reviews, 95% positive. All time, a little bit different, 99,000, 83% positive. Love Space Marine 2. I've talked about this game ad nauseum. I totally get the criticism with the length of the campaign and it being $60. You do have replayability with the PvE and PvP component, but sometimes you guys, at least for me, and I know I'm in a luxurious position where I can play a lot of these new releases, and, you know, a lot of people are dropping $60, $70 on these games. I was sent this game by Focus, so I just like to make that transparent. But for me, you know, playing all these games and having so many games to play, backlog is crazy. We got so many open world action RPGs, so on and so forth, 80, 100 hours long. I mean, I'm gonna play Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I'm kind of, like, terrified of getting into that game in February next year. But, Space Marine 2 offered this no-nonsense, high-octane, fast-paced 7 to 9 hour campaign, maybe even a little shorter than that. It was absolutely gruesome, it was absolutely visceral, and guess what? It was a ton of fun. Over-the-top action mayhem, harken back to the 360 era of shooters, and I say that in the best way possible. It's just a fantastic game. Narratively, I didn't care for it, I just didn't get into it. I played this game for the gameplay, and it was awesome. Co-op is available as well, so if you do want to play with some friends, I really enjoyed the game. Again, I could totally understand you wanting to wait for a deeper discount, get that, but yeah, for those of you that are interested, I'll just say I think the game is worthwhile, and it's a game that's going to be updated for a long time with free updates. When I say a long time, at least until the end of 2025, they've got a roadmap out there, and I think this game is just going to get better and better, so $48 on that. I think it's a pretty good price. Speaking of games that are going to get better and better, Palworld is 25% off for $22.49. We've been talking about the game a lot, and this one, very positive reception, 298,000 reviews, 94% positive. Recent reviews, though, 19,000 reviews, 98% positive, so the reception is very strong. We do know that there is going to be a update on at the Game Awards. I imagine that it's going to be a showcase of the big updates that's going to come out in December. And here's a hot take. Totally could see Game Awards, they dropped that trailer and they announced something like the major update is out right now. Given that they said that it's going to be out this month, it's about time they release it, because really the final date that you could put it out is December 23rd, because you're not going to drop something like that on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and after that, like, the winter sale is going on. You don't want to get lost in the shuffle with all that. Palworld's a big game, but there's no reason to not just get the update out when Steam isn't cluttered with all the winter sale stuff. So I think they're gonna reveal the update, you know, all the content update that's coming in. They're just gonna say, yo, it's out right now, go download it. That's my expectation, but whatever the deal is, it's $22.49 right now. It's gonna get more content in 2025. You're gonna get a Terraria crossover, and remember, with an early access game, it will ultimately go up in price. What's there already is great, and, you know, screw Nintendo, but, the game is going to be fine, I think, and it's just going to get better and better, so getting it for $22.49, that's tremendous. Definitely would recommend that, especially with that big update on the horizon, and when I say on the horizon, it literally could be out in a couple of days. Risk of Rain and Risk of Rain 2 are on sale. Risk of Rain 2013 is $1.99, while Risk of Rain 2 is $8 and change. I do believe Risk of Rain 2 has been a little bit cheaper, but nonetheless, thought Risk of Rain 2013 for $1.99 is kind of insane, so definitely a worthwhile pickup there. And then Risk of Rain 2 is a game that I had a lot of fun with, did definitely infuriate me at times and make me damn near break a controller, but like the art style to that game, I thought it was quite aesthetic as far as that's concerned. Incredibly addictive. I remember uninstalling the game because I got so infuriated with the game, and literally like 30 seconds went by and I was literally reinstalling the game. That was how pathetic I was with Risk of Rain 2 when it initially dropped. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for me. Again, that deal on SOMA is just ridiculous. $1.49 on that is tremendous. Definitely would recommend that, and a lot of other great deals as well. Check them out in the description box below. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.